Yeah, dude, you're back on the Monday Mornings with Mitch podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Morse, and I'm joined always by my co-host, confidant, good buddy, all time, just gem up a person, KC Hahey. Case, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Mitch. And I'm also fired up as always for this episode. More fired up today, honestly, because we are dealing with an absolute pro. A pro's pro. She just, she's a fantastic human. She's incredible at what she does.
Very.
It makes me love watching the shows that she's on. She's just super knowledgeable and just an unbelievable conversationalist. And like I said, a pro's pro.
Yeah, dude, she's a killer at her
Yeah.
gig. We talked about it on there. I think she's rocking at one of the top of her game. And the person we're talking about, of course, is Jamie Erdahl. She's the co-host of Good Morning Football, the host of her own ambitious show, which she's murdering, slaughtering. A live show Monday through Friday called No Breaks with Jamie Erdahl, I believe.
Could you imagine?
No. We have to edit our shorts off. And we do edit this one pretty substantially because on our end we fumble. Of course, she carries the show like she always does. I'm just so looking forward to the folks seeing what makes Jamie tick, just kind of inside of her life, how she got to where she is today, and just being a treasure trove of information like she always is. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy our show with none other than Jamie Erdahl.
I've got a long list of real good reasons for all the things I've done, and regret is just a memory written on my brow. And there's nothing I can do about it now.
Casey, arm yourself, my friend.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Yep.
This next guest has got me fired up, dude. She really doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyways. Media mogul. Just an icon of the game, a talent we have not seen in a very long time, one we will see for a very long time. Mother of three, friend to many. Please welcome to the show, Jamie Erdahl. Let's go.
Okay, despite that incredible introduction, I'm so mad at you guys for not telling me that this is what we were doing.
What do you? Oh, it's
What
fair.
the
Well,
heck?
so Jamie, why would we bring out these?
Why wouldn't you? You know why? I had my share. And you know what else I vowed? First of all, thank you, Mitch. That was incredibly kind. I vowed to never drink another Guinness until I step foot back into Ireland, because I figure like it's just not going to taste as good here ever. And I actually never had it in the States. That was
Right.
the first time I had Guinness was in Ireland, and I feel strongly that I should never have it any other place now.
It is different over there. It
It
really
different.
is.
It is different.
It
I
tastes
hate-
different.
I hate saying it
Well,
is
come
different.
on now. Let's see if you two can
Okay,
split
no,
the
so
tea.
here before while
don't
it
have a
settles,
G on that.
something about football is film review. So we're gonna do a little film review.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Oh, no.
There she goes. Easy.
Keep going.
Deceptive.
Keep going. That's probably
Deceptive.
No,
That's a
I'm
visceral
disappointed.
reaction, Jamie. Visceral reaction.
Are you undershot, James?
Good TV.
Jamie's hair.
Am I allowed to talk during this?
Yeah, of course.
Good TV would have been, Jamie, on the next try, just go for the whole thing. The whole thing. But I was smirking so badly that I couldn't effectively keep drinking the beer. And so I'm so disappointed in myself, just from a like do it for the brand, do it for good television, that it's just I'm so disappointed in myself. I drank so many Guinnesses the rest of the weekend. Look at me. I was just like shamed. Just kept trying. That doesn't count, Jamie. You just
No. Here's
It didn't help
here's-
that Kyle
here's
was
the thing.
egging you on,
No,
too.
yeah, Kyle was pushing.
Yes,
buttons.
that's what I
You're-
was kind of chuckling about.
Well, you're on foreign soil with a foreign beverage,
Yeah.
and you really no one led you to water. You're a horse that was not led to
Yeah.
water here, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to split the G. I have my towel. I have my towel, and I wasn't gonna do this, but Jamie is very good at what she does. And cheers.
Toast
Cheers.
Oh shit!
Gentlemen.
Hold on. Okay.
Oh my
right.
God. go, go. There's no G on anybody's glass, so you have to drink the whole thing to the bottom. Wow, milk mustache
There is a G.
and all in the beard.
There's a little G.
You just blew right past that, G.
Blew right past it.
I'm proud of you,
Just because I want to numb the pain,
as-
Jamie. I just want to numb the
They
pain.
would say in Dublin, that's grand. That's
grand.
a phrase I picked up over there.
Okay,
That's grand.
so Jamie, can you tell us about Dublin? Like, I know we had talked when I was on the show. International games came up.
Oh, yeah.
Super fun. I think the tide's changing amongst players and definitely fans that there is a space for football overseas. I went down to Brazil for the Chiefs game, and I'll tell you what, it fed my soul. I was not expecting it to. It fed me. Just tell us about your experience, where you see how this game is going, football. It is becoming an international sport. And just kind of give us the rundown and the skinny on, I'm sure you've been over there a few times overseas in different spots, but has your opinion on it changed, or just give us your 2 cents on the whole thing?
Not only has my opinion changed on it, but my history with it was when I was at CBS, I started on the NFL on CBS in 2015, and I was on the 3rd crew, so the C crew technically. And back then, and I hope that my people who promote the international game and the NFL side of things don't take offense to the story, but we used to get that assignment a lot. I think I did like 4 NFL games in a row in London as the C crew. Like the value, I don't think the value of the game, the way it was scheduled, similar to what we used to see of the Thursday night game. That, like, when it first started getting scheduled, it was just like that was like a throwaway matchup, So you're not going to send Jim Nantz and whoever over there on the A crew to do these games. So I did a lot of not early because it started in 2007, but it was the schedule of the games were still tough. I did a lot of games over there, and I liked it. It didn't feel electric, honestly, in London at the time. Then I go to the SEC, and that's like electricity factory.
Sure.
And then I come back to, when I go to Good Morning Football, I start getting these games again. And I went to London in 2022. Then I went to Munich, and that totally changed my tune about the games in Europe. I wonder if London had become kind of like diluted. There were so many games, and it had been in one place for so long that there wasn't like newness to it anymore. They tried to create newness, manufacture it by putting it at different arenas or stadiums throughout London. But man, when that thing went to Munich and I witnessed that go down, it was Seahawks-Bucks. Oh, doggy. That thing was insane because Brady was there. And the Seahawks, because of the time change thing, the time zones, the Seahawks had predominantly played in Germany. Like they had been aired. Their games were aired in Germany. So it was massive amount of Seahawks fans, and then there were just Tom Brady fans. So it was like this perfect thunderstorm of like NFL fandom in Munich. So that's when I was like, damn, I think this could really work whenever they show up at a new place. So, but I also then got a little bit spoiled. So then I'm like going back to London. I'm like, well, what's new about this? Like I want some, I want this to happen, be like a little bit more exciting. So this year, when there was so much new, there was Dublin and there was Madrid. I'm lucky enough that I get to do both. So I get to go to Madrid next month as well.
Whoa.
Which is cool.
Spicy trip.
So all that being said, Dublin matched Munich in its like newness in the people that showed up. I also think the NFL has gotten so good at picking which teams show up in these spots. Like the nonstop flights from Minneapolis to Dublin, genius. The Steelers in Ireland, like there was no other option. The whole thing was awesome. It was so great, and like the stadium, Croke Park, reminded me. I was really thinking hard about what it reminded me of. It reminded me of where Alabama plays, just in its Bryant-Denny, like just in its how it's built, because it's just like cement, and it's just up and down, and everyone is crawling on top of each other. My husband was in the stands, and he was just like, it felt like a college game in the stands, which was really fun. So I think it's fantastic, and now I'm a little nervous for Madrid because I speak next to no Spanish. So
Well, I'll tell you what, you can crush some tapas. All right.
I'll crush some tapas.
And
What do I drink
I'm
over
sure
there?
there's some sort of alcoholic drink you can chug
Spanish
on
wine,
there.
right?
Spanish wine, yeah. I'm sure that's really fun to chug. I'm sure you won't throw up out of your butt after that.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Don't tempt Jamie Erdahl with a good time. Okay, so you were talking about electric. I believe the word was electric factory, which was the SEC. Well, there's another facet of your life that I would deem as the electric factory, and that's No Brakes
Oh yeah.
by Jamie Erdahl. One of the most ambitious things I've seen in quite some time. As you can tell, me and Casey, we need all the editing we can get. Okay.
Yeah.
But so I was watching your first episode, and it's not the exact quote, but the reality of
Right.
influencers is that their lives are edited, right?
Yeah.
And what I loved about your show was that you were unsure, right? Like I don't know where this is going to go. I'm putting myself out there. You quoted Whitney Cummings as saying "damage is hilarious." Right? I thought that was a really funny quote. And you let it loose. And I thought it was a real fun watch. I found myself just kind of doing my thing, and then it was over, and I was really upset. Okay, so you've already been through this over a week. I think this will
Yeah.
be today. You'll be at 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Is it everything you expected it to be? Are there facets of it that you weren't quite expecting? And I guess my biggest thing is there was so much anticipation, probably by yourself, for this, right? Was
Yeah.
there some like emotional letdown after the first episode?
Totally. That's a really good place to start. It was like, to your point, listening to it, even doing it, like it was over. I hit stop streaming, and I was like, wow, that just went out there or into the universe over the internet. I still stand by that. I've had, in our line of work in media, you get to interact with a lot of different people. And Mitch, as you know, in my last year of my life, I've been around people who are brand new to television.
Oh, boy.
I've been around people who are really, really experienced in social media, being an influencer. And then I work with people who are like wildly gifted every day on Good Morning Football. So I kind of know the range. And something that I've witnessed, I don't know if it's moving to LA or, LA adjacent in the last year, but while I can appreciate content creation and the creator world as a platform and a job, what I can't get over is some of the people that I have come across when I go to speak with them just as humans in a hallway. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, where is the conversational skill set when it's not performative and when it's not done in front of a cell phone with your little mics clipped on your sweatshirt? It's like they can't operate. So that really annoys me, honestly, when I come across people, and it's just like, you can't live your life always doing it for the social media. You can't.
Right.
How do you do that? How are you ever in a relationship? How do you have friendships? Like what? So this really started to bug me, and also in the competitive spirit that I have, witnessing these people kind of garner this massive following on social media annoys me also, because I'm like, well, I can do that. But I can't do what they're doing, which is like the performative, edited, highly produced thing. But I can do this, and I can do it live, and I can do it without stopping, unfortunately, for a lot of people. So a lot of this was born out of me just being like stubborn and competitive and being like, there's a parking spot here, I think that's unoccupied, that no one has really taken up yet. I'm sure there's somebody else that goes live every day that I don't want to make act like I'm doing something brand new. But I know that there are people that live in the universe who just rely so much on the like, well, let me do it funnier. Let me do it differently. I'm like, that's cool. You do that. But I'm going to do this thing over here, and we're just going to hit stream, and we're going to yap. And I hate that word. And I'm just going to talk, and it's just going to be like the freewheeling sense of and also the personal challenge of it really not being about sports. And if I do bring up sports, I put a $1 in the sports jar, and then that money is going to like go to charity. So you're going to come on, Mitch, because I
would love.
Yeah, actually, Mitch, I want to tell you something. I'm gonna show my phone on the pod. We have a producer that we work with, Bill, who I was kicking around this idea with Bill, no Breaks, when it was in its infancy in the summer. And in an early workings, I wonder if I still have this. I think I do. Business plan. In the early workings, your name is in my segment ideas doc.
Oh, Lord God.
It is. You want to know something? You are even in a
bummer with no
if this will
hair.
Show up. Wednesday, the 5th segment down. I was gonna call it. Wait. It's gonna focus. Wait. I have faith in the system. The Mitch Morse report.
No.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I really think highly of you and how you deliver your sense of self and your life. And I think the little that I've been around you, you're super cool. You're very witty. I enjoy your dry sense of humor. But I also think you're so much more than what people make you to be, which is like, oh my God, you snapped the ball to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. That's so cool. So I wanted No Breaks to be a platform for, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of talking about sports and I have so much other stuff to say. And so that's what it became. And you qualified, my friend. So Mitch Morse report, there's an idea for you.
So for those who don't know, first of all, Jamie, that's unbelievable. Thank you. We did text you before and say, please. My emotional, because love languages are different. Like, I'm a positive affirmation guy. Like, please fuel my ego. So, no, Jamie, that's unbelievable. And you really did.
Yeah.
There is something to it, right? Like, there is something to talking to someone. And I don't know. I think it's the vanity of every generation to say that this next generation is what it is, right? And you see it in football all the time. Like, football's not the same. Like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They're way bigger, faster, stronger, and they're kicking my ass, and that's why I want to retire. But there is something fun, and I think what's going to be cool to see is just like the maturation of the show.
Yeah.
What is that going to entail? Like, what's every day going to bring? I think that's so unique. And I like, tell me, do you have an idea of what you're going to talk about, or do you just turn the camera on and you're like, this is what's
So
popping in my
right
mind?
now I've kind of left like Mondays and Thursdays as like my own days to sit there by myself. And it was, again, born out of a personal challenge and stubbornness of like, I am going to sit here and do this alone
Sure.
in a cavern of my own thoughts. But then I also carved out people in my life to come on. And the way that McAfee does like his guys, like those are recurring characters. McAfee's the center of the wheel, but then you have like the cogs on the wheel.
Absolutely.
And like on Tuesdays, I've got this girlfriend from my childhood who we used to hate each other. And now we're like dear friends. The first show, it was just us reminding ourselves like kind of some crappy things I did to her like in middle school and high school. And like now we're dear, dear friends. My sister comes on Wednesdays. She's like an absolute, like the biggest introvert you've ever met and like doesn't know when the Super Bowl is played. Like she's so different than I am. And then today, Fridays, my buddy, it's my husband's best friend. Because, like, I called my husband Wilson on the show because he's, like, that neighbor in Home Improvement that never wanted to be seen. So, yep, I call him Wilson. Well, Wilson's best friend is going to be on Fridays. He played pro hockey. He went to Michigan.
Nice.
Like, he's one of my good friends, too, and he's going to, like, represent Dad Fridays. And we also, we do Crack It Fridays on Friday. So I, too, was at the opening of the beer store today at 9 a.m. in California buying
Crack
beer
It
for the day.
Fridays.
Crack It Fridays, yeah.
Well, that's
Just
see,
gonna live taste test beer on a Friday.
live taste test beer. I can speak on top of that. It's not live, but I've tasted enough Guinness for my lifetime, I think.
Yeah,
Can we
I know,
log
right?
into
It's-
that just for us to drink?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just
totally.
Jamie. Yeah, we'll
Again, though.
Again.
My setup does not look like this fancy. Technically, like it is jerry rig central on that thing. So me figuring out how to get multiple people, you guys might have to get together so you're in one box and then drink. Like that's about as
Mitch doesn't live far from me. We can
Okay,
definitely
good.
do that.
Well,
Crack It
so,
Fridays. I'll bring you guys on.
Listen, do what you deem. The Holy Spirit tells me how to walk my life sometimes. Maybe the Holy Spirit's just like, I need to dumb this thing down a little bit. Why don't we get Mitch and Case on here and see what happens? So that'd be sick. That'd be sick. All right, so, Jamie, I'm just an outside looking in, dude.
Yeah.
You have so much going on. You
Yeah.
have Good Morning Football. You have this live show going on. You're traveling a bunch. And in that first show, No Breaks, you're talking about your travels, schedules. Like my flight got delayed. I had to be on show. Call time. The production meetings out there are 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, let me just say that I tried to get there early, just try to be like the goody two-shoes with the apple giving the teacher. And Jamie's already in the makeup chair listening to slappers from the 2000s. And
Yep.
I have to assume you have of course, your loves in your life. You have your family, you have your children, all sorts of stuff. But one that seems that you're unabashedly in love with is caffeine. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you drinking your Celsius, and I just think of Michael Bublé's version, even though it's not his, of Me and Mrs. Jones. We got a thing going on. Now, so I know you're drinking a little coffee right now. You have Celsius. It just kind of depends on the moment. Tell me
does.
your relationship with caffeine, and is it something that's soured, or are you still in the honeymoon phase of your relationship?
I think it's kind of right in the middle. It's like probably the most steady relationship besides my marriage that I have. We're like the old couple that's like, we don't have to speak when we're in the same room together. We already know the end of each other's sentences. Like it knows what I need and I know what it needs, which is sometimes it needs me to put the can or the cup down.
Sure.
So then we can so like you mentioned, when you saw me that in the summertime, that's like heavy Celsius territory for me. It's like hot and like it's just the caffeine hits different times. Now we're entering fall and I'm a little bit more inclined to the coffee, but I have to have like the 2 coffees before the show starts or else the words just do not come out of the mouth like properly at 5 a.m. So the tricky balance is to avoid getting the shakes like midday. So I have my dose in the morning and then I have to wait until now no breaks is kind of like the chapter change of like the next caffeine, which then it becomes soda, which I know is gonna like kill us all apparently.
So is Tylenol.
And so that's exactly. So I have like a 2-fold caffeine relationship. There's a break there in the middle of the day a little bit. And I also, but like on the flip side, I go cold turkey like at 2 p.m. Otherwise I can't go to bed in order to get up at 3 a.m. So like I have this thing down to a fine art and a fine science. And thanks for noticing.
Well, as good relationships, I try to be as vigilant as possible.
You were just trying to pick up on everything. And
I was, no.
Which is cool to watch. It was cool to watch, honestly. There's not a lot of people that come in there and act like that on that show, so good job. Some people just sit down and they're like, what am I doing next? I'm like, oh my God.
I can't imagine. It was a kid in a candy store. I just couldn't believe I was on that show. I couldn't believe that I was sharing the screen with these folks. It was, and the coffee machine you're talking about is epic.
It's a Mercedes Benz.
Seth, it is just, they make sure these folks are caffeinated to the moon. And it's such a beautiful thing. That show is amazing. But also kind of speaking on that point, not to blow too much smoke, but I thought one of the coolest things was like there's different universal love languages or different universal languages, and one of them is kindness. And Jamie, that's one of those things that I appreciate you because you're fluent in it. And for a guy like me who really, like you were talking about earlier, like there's just guys who haven't done TV before. I just remember, like we said, 3, 2, 1, go. Everyone's tone changed, and I just sat there like, oh no, I got to call my mom. I don't know what I'm doing. But it was great because I think one of the things you do so well is on the show is you see people who might be struggling a little bit, and you kind of you're able to pick them up, or you see a guy who's on a roll or a gal who's on a roll, right? And you let them fly. And I feel like that's something that it might be fairly intuitive, but something I assume you've had to pick up over time. And I just want to talk about kind of a full circle moment. You're a proud Minnesota native.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we saw you do the skull chant. I know you that had to fire you up to the moon, right? So you went to Breck High School out in Golden Valley, Minnesota. Actually, fun thing is you were not the only famous alumni there. Frank Mars, who's the creator of the Mars Bar. He was also the creator of a thing called a Milky Way bar.
Oh yeah.
A Snickers bar.
Way to go, Frank.
And his son invented M&Ms.
What?
Yeah. So I don't want to get you too fired up, but you're in some really cool company. And then
cool company.
Then you go to St. Olaf's College because you have a passion for sport, right? Like if your family is in medicine, you love sport.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you're playing, I believe, softball and basketball, and you decide, this is still my jam. I still want to do this. So you go to St. Olaf's, which I believe is in the same conference as Hogwarts, and some other ones. And then you make you make a change. You go to American University, and you pursue broadcasting communication. Like for me, at that age, I had no idea what I was doing. Football wasn't even on the realm of playing professionally. I had no grasp of what I was going to do. It just seems like you had such clarity and conviction to make that change, right? Like you had to give up some of the things that you love, but you knew. Like, so tell us about, was there like a moment that clicked for you Was it something that was hard to do? Because then it seems like you've been full bore since and been riding high.
Yeah. Thank you. What a cool way to tell that story. I didn't know what the job was exactly. Like, I wasn't some, like, 10-year-old. There's no home video of me, like, holding a pretend microphone and being like, reporting live. Like, that's not, it doesn't go back in that sense. But what I did know was that I just loved watching and talking about sports and playing sports as a kid, as a girl, so much. And sometimes to my detriment. My mom, and my mom hates when I say this, but it's true, because all parents, like, I understand why what I'm about to say she gets bothered by, because if my child was speaking of herself this way, I would be sad for her. But I was a really bad student, really, really bad student. And I know it's not like a haha, like, numbers don't lie. The numbers were not good. And but man, I could spin it when it came to, like, well, if I, like, miss this class, like, maybe I could just talk to, like, the athletic director who's the football coach, and I wouldn't have to miss my basketball practice that night. And, like, somehow it always, like, worked out because I was only doing it so I could, like, make it to basketball practice that night. So in high school, we had to do this job shadow at this prep school that I went to. Your junior year, they said, go out and find a job shadow, 2 weeks. And I went right across the street to where the sports talk radio station is in Minneapolis. And I was like, let me hang out here for 2 weeks straight, sign this piece of paper, and I'll answer the phones. And people think that people that call into radio stations are like mouth breathers. I love those people.
Sure.
And I was a 16-year-old girl, teenage girl in Minneapolis, answering phones about people, like, bitching about the Vikings and the Timberwolves and the Twins, whatever. And I was like, this is so awesome. So that was in high school.
Right.
But school was just so not my jam. So I go to this St. Olaf College. My dad had gone there. My sister was there at the time. Her now husband is there at the time. And it's like one of the 3 schools I got into. And it's Division III sports. And I'm like, you know what? If I can do nothing else, at least I can keep playing basketball and softball. So I went there. And everyone at St. Olaf is either going pre-med or going to go, like, run Target someday. Like, that's just the name of the game academically. And I wasn't going to graduate, like, on time. It was like I was, like, trying to, like, file the pass-fail paperwork in time. Like, I don't think I ever missed a game, like, academically, but it was not good. Plus, like, I couldn't find anything to major in. I was just flailing. I was taking classes to take classes. And I just realized, like, what am I doing with this? Anyone that I ever watch that is on TV, by then I had realized, like, oh, I think I could try to do this or be in television. Talk about looking up, like, a Wikipedia page of alumni. No one that went to St. Olaf was ever on television. So, like, I'm just like, I got to get out of here.
A lot of politicians.
A lot of politicians. A lot of, like, Lutheran pastors. You know, like, it's all cool. Like, people that run Fortune 500 companies in Minneapolis, great. But, like, not for me. So I went to transfer and still struggled transferring. Got into a couple schools. I really wanted to go to Arizona State. My mom was, like, over my dead body. And
I wonder why.
So I went to American. My sister was in Baltimore by then. She was, they were living in Baltimore, and so I was in D.C., which was cool. My mom's from Philly, so it was like an East Coast thing. And I thought about, like, walking on to the basketball team there, and I decided against it because they let me do things there. Like, I called, like, a volleyball match on the radio. Never played volleyball in my life. And I was like, welcome to American University. Like, I don't know any of the terms, whatever. So bump set spike, like, wow, what a match, I think.
That wasn't Eye on the Eagle, was it?
That was not Eye on the Eagle. That was a magazine style show, and it was that was a show that I just got put on because someone worked in the athletic department whose spouse worked in, like, the local television station. And again, I think enough people in my life early on in my career, to make a long story longer, enough people in my career recognized that I was going to be good at something. I was going to be good at this. I was not, like, eyes on the prize. I just wanted to be around sports in any mechanism that I could. I also learned early on that I was right at the tail end of the era, at least in sports TV, at least for women, where people were just starting to not go the traditional route of, like, well, first you have to go to market 201. Then you have to go to market 177. Then maybe you sniff, like, high-level college football at, like, market 98. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to move to Wheeling, West Virginia. I don't. So I gave myself a year after graduating college to get a big girl TV job. And in college, I interned at ESPN as like a production intern. And I said, if I don't get a big girl TV job in my first year after graduating college, I'll go back to ESPN and be a producer. I just like loved it so much. And if that was going to fail, I was going to go work for a team. I didn't have to be on TV. I wasn't going to go do the news or weather. It was either sports or sports not being on TV. So 11 months after I graduated, I got my first big girl TV job in Boston. And even that circumstance, I went from covering a winless Coon Rapids high school football team to like Doc Rivers practice, like press conference the next week. Like, it was just insane. But someone saw me along the way and was like, you're talented and I'm not going to have to pay you a lot and you can come to Boston and like be good. And I did, and I was good. And like, I can say that now comfortably, you know, it took me a long time, but like I was 22 and like working in Boston, which is like not how that's supposed to go. So, it was a combination of me kind of being, and to put a bow on the story, so I use Wheeling, West Virginia as a really specific example. I applied to a job there. And the guy wrote back to me and was like, you don't have enough experience like running your own camera. You don't get the job. And I was like, all right. And now every couple of years, that guy puts a tweet out that's like, on this date in 2010, I rejected Jamie Erdahl from a job at my local TV station. I think he still works there. Shout out to that guy.
That is really cool.
I mean, what do you got there? The Wheeling Nailers. That's about it.
Is that the more than I knew? Like, I was definitely not prepped to work in that market. So a lot of people took issue, I think, when I first got that job in Boston, but I can say now with confidence, like you can put me in a lot of situations and like I can hang. And someone saw something in me that they picked me, they plucked me out of obscurity and was like, you come do this, and it's just worked out ever since.
Well, you can tell when people just got it, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter race, sex, I usually just say religion afterwards, but all that stuff, right? And I was going to ask you this question, and then I thought about it, and I was like, it's probably overplayed. She's been asked this question 1,000 times, but you're very quotable, Jamie Erdahl, and there's two quotes that hit me, and the only reason why I asked this is because I have a daughter, okay? And if my daughter grows up to be Jamie Erdahl, I'll be a happy, happy man, truly, all right? And one of the first quote that came up was, I never wanted to be the token woman. I wanted to be the person who adds something different, perspective, energy, humor, without needing to prove I belong. I know I belong, which is kind of to your point. You said, no matter what situation you throw me in, I'm gonna be a fucking killer, okay? But this is the one that got me, all right? When a little girl turns on the TV and sees a woman talking ball with former players and coaches and doing it confidently, that changes something for her. That's the best part of the job. Right, and what I thought about that was, listen, even though I assume you still wake up nowadays and you can't believe the gig you have, you can't believe the life you have, the opportunities you have, the experiences you get to have. I'm sure there's days you wake up and you're like, dude, this is the last thing that I want to be doing right now. I just want to go back to bed, right? And and when I was training or playing, it never hit me like I'm going to do this rep because of blah, blah, blah. But after reading that, I assume that I'm very wrong, okay? I can be wrong at things, and I think I am, because there has to be something to that. Does that still fuel your fire a little bit? Because I'd love for my daughter to turn on the TV one day and say, you know what, that gal's a fucking badass. I'd love to be that and do that thing. Is that still in your wheelhouse of thoughts?
Yeah.
Or is that something like, okay, now
No.
just like caffeine, I'm in the
I
the
think
space.
we're in no, I'm not in like the cruise it part. I don't know if I ever will be. The wild thing about how the job transforms, I think, as you stay in it longer, is that the stakes get higher. And we talk about this on the show on Good Morning Football a lot, just with games. You know, like that great Sunday Night Football Bills game early in the season, Bills Ravens. Like that game was entertaining, but it didn't have stakes at the time.
Sure.
Because it was, what was that, week one?
Week one?
Yeah.
For me, every job I take the stakes have gotten higher. So I still wake up, and even if I'm groggy, you know, I would say the longest it takes me is about 15 minutes before the show, where I'm like, oh, I'm going to go out and do my bleeping best because somebody else wants this job so badly, and I'm going to show them why they're not going to get it.
Ooh, dude, let me fire it up.
Watch out now.
Give me more Guinness. Oh my God.
Right?
Yes. No.
So,
That's sick. All right, keep going. Sorry.
So, you know, I learned early on, it was my transition from the NFL on CBS to the SEC on CBS, where the NFL, like I mentioned, I was on the third crew. I was working with Greg Gumbel and Trent Green, and we had good games. We had fine games, but I all of a sudden became very aware when I realized, like, my games are going to, like, 9% of the country. And I can do my best, and I understand that if as I'm doing a good job and the producers are telling the higher-ups, Jamie does a solid job, you know, that's fine.
Sure.
But when I got to the SEC, and I was like, if I don't bring it in every Nick Saban production meeting, people are going to know. I'm going to get exposed as a fraud. So there was no, like, loafing it in any game ever, in any meeting, in any interaction I had with the players. Those guys are going to go play in the NFL someday. So I can't just take, like, a random phone call off and, like, not care about so-and-so. So I also had this interaction once on an SEC game where my producer was really, it was a crazy game, probably like a night game, you know, LSU, Alabama, something crazy like that. And I was just, like, giving him all these ideas before, maybe at a production meeting or something. And I was like, and this and this and this. And I remember he looked at me and he was like, Jamie, that's fine. Just be ready when I ask you to talk, okay?
Ooh.
Like, just have your shit in order, essentially. Because I have all this other stuff. And I was like, man, thank you for saying it like that to me. I didn't say that because he clearly didn't act like, he didn't seem like he had the time. But it taught me something, which was, you have to be, especially as a sideline reporter, and I think it makes me a good host, you have to be great when they ask you to be on, and but you also have to support the broadcast without ever being seen or heard sometimes. And you better perform for those 30 seconds so then they want you back on. If you're boring, if you're bland, if you're uninteresting, if you mess up in your 30-second opportunities, they're not going to have you back. So the SEC, the stakes were so much higher than the third level NFL game. Good Morning Football, that was a whole different job. I essentially convinced those people that I could host a show. Never hosted a show like that in my life. But I was like, no, I got this. Like, I love this. It's great. I knew I could do it. They didn't know. They had never seen me do anything like that. So I know that there are young women out there, and I don't say this to put them down. I want to say these things to drive them to be just as competitive, to don't worry about what other people are doing in their jobs. Be so good at your job that you have that no one can come and take it from you. Like, they'll pry it from my cold, dead hands. And when the show moved from New York to LA, I moved because I was like, no, that's my chair.
Yeah. Well,
so that's why I do it. And even if it's 10 minutes before we go on the air, I just think to myself, doggy, there's a lot of people that would want to be sitting here, and they're not going to do it. It's going to be me. So buckle up, Buttercup. There goes my
Well,
headphones.
buckle up, Buttercup. But also, there is something to those folks that are doing it at such a high level, and I'd put you in that category. You talk to those folks. It really doesn't matter the time or day. You do have that, even if it's competing against yourself.
Yes.
Right?
I had to, early on in my life, in my career, I remember feeling really distracted by specifically Sam Steele, now Sam Ponder. And she's a little older than I am. She was just exploding onto the scene. And I was like, I would watch YouTube videos of her. I'd be like, God, she's so good. She's so confident but casual. She seems approachable. She's prepared. And I was like, man, am I wasting a lot of time watching this other chick be good at her job, which is not making me any better at my job. So I knocked that right off, like, very early in my career. Because I'm like, why am I trying to be like anybody else? Like, I'm only going to be good if I'm good at what I do. And so I had to kind of rewire how I do the job, or how I prepare at least.
Well, perspective is cruel at times, right? Like, you have to go through those things. And for me, my next question would be, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff. This is fun. I'm not saying this isn't fun, but this is great. But so you're talking about, you're on SEC Network now, or you're working with the SEC rather, not on SEC Network. You're working with the SEC.
Yeah.
Because it seems like some folks, I have these 30 seconds. I have to slaughter. They might not even see my face, but they have to feel my energy. They have to feel how palpable the energy is in the stadium, the stakes, the situations, all that stuff. Does that kind of hone it in and give you some grace, or does that, because for me, I feel like at times I might fold I'd like to think I wouldn't. But has it always been immediately like, yes, the lights are on me. This is a big moment. This is I can do a lot of good damage in a good way here.
Yeah.
Does that kind of narrow the lens for you?
It does. I also think, at least for me personally, I'm a big I'm a hang girl. So I like any NCAA tournament I ever did, any NFL game, college game. 2020 really kind of ruined like the hang a lot, especially when it came to like production meetings. But pre that, which was a lot of my career, it was like dinners, lunches, who's at the hotel bar, who's in the lobby walking to lunch. Like I have like huge FOMO, and I don't do well in my room by myself. So like I would just be like, who's going where? What are we doing? What? So with that came a lot of conversation just with my on-air partners. But also, you hear them say things like, for truth be told, they might complain or give feedback about when they would work with other people, how it might be frustrating to do X, Y, or Z a certain way. And so I'm like, logged, don't do it like that. I also think that in my 30 seconds, my dad always taught me to pride myself on being a good conversationalist. And if I did a report that was just like, guys, period, end of sentence, there was nothing interesting, there was nothing to toss back up to, and then guys, that's not conversational whatsoever. So I always tried my best to make the reports as a part of their conversation. Hey, you just said this, and then add on to it. Hey, we were talking to so-and-so about this, and then add on to it. If you're not making the booth interested in what you're saying, how can you expect the people at home to be interested in what you're saying?
Well, that's very fair.
I just always wanted it to be interesting. I didn't want it to be some like pity report that like, well, she's here, we better go down to her. Like it would drive me. I could sense that. I had a very very sensitive to like, don't just come down to me because it's like a blowout, even though that is like a nice opportunity to tell a story. But like, I wanted to crush it in the 30 seconds, but I also wanted it to be so entertaining that like sometimes if like the ultimate win is if you like tell someone a good story and the producer's like, leave her mic up, let her keep going, or like the play-by-play guy's like, James, what else? Or just something. You're like, that's like a tip of the cap. Like you did something so great that they wanted you to keep sharing. And that's what was always like, that was the drive.
Well, it's fun to hear, pick people's brains, especially folks who we've had an opportunity to interview a lot of people who've done their job at a high level. And it's these little intricate moments. It's how they view behind the scenes. Like I can see, it's my favorite thing is conversation and picking up those little cues. Like, okay, it's a mental cue. Don't do that. This guy fucking hates it. Don't do it. And I feel like I can ask you these kind of questions forever and ever, but you have places to be, and I'm going to have to pee here soon with how many. Okay,
I'm glad you acknowledged it.
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
Two things we do on this show. One's fan questions, okay?
Okay.
We scour the internet, Jamie, and people were excited. Oh my goodness, we go through hours and hours of video messages. It's a little bit taxing, but Casey found one, and it's very personal. I thought it was a great question. It's MT out of Indiana. MT, would you like to post it up there, Case?
Jamie Erdahl, my name is Manti Till. I got a question for you. I know you've lived in many places. I know you've had a lot of neighbors, but who's your favorite neighbor?
MT looks wildly familiar. MT is Manti Teo, just a gem of a person, one of those heavy hitters you have on the show, just a great dude and an amazing person at his gig. He had quite an intimate question for you for a stranger. Would you like to elaborate?
Oh, that guy just shows up at my house. Like, I barely know the dude. No, he's become one of my friends. And like I said, this goes back to any broadcast crew I've ever been a part of. I've blessed my husband because I have so many like close male colleagues, and he's like such an unbothered human.
Sure.
And I really think so much of in my dating and in my like success of my marriage is just him being like, so what? Like he's so secure in himself and like our love that Greg Gumbel, rest his soul, Trent Green, still like I could call him now and he would, we would catch up for an hour. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. Still talk to Gary probably once every 2 weeks, and just to talk football, make sure like I'm on the same page with like just stuff in the NFL. And then Manti has become that for me now, and to the point where our first year living in California, we lived pretty close to the stadium or the network, and now we chose to move down to Orange County, a little bit more space. And Manti then gets the job. He's coming to California from Utah, and we just had this instant friendship. And he got to know my husband a little bit. And in knowing Manti, I think he knew that I would get along with his wife really well. And they are probably 2 football fields from our house.
Oh, wow.
And our kids are in the same age bracket, like everyone's under 6. And we hang, we debrief. We talk on the phone on the drive home. Sometimes he drives me home. It's been really cool because I respect him so much about what he knows about the game, but also like Mitch, you know this about coming on the show. Like you can hang on Good Morning Football if you love football. Like you can look at the game and talk about the game any way you want as long as you show up and you love it the way we all love it. We can kind of sniff it out if you can pretty quickly. And we just like will forget to book you again if you don't. And so Manti loves it, and he was really good at it. He also just has like an incredible life story that's really fascinating, and it's like made him a really cool human. So he's my favorite neighbor for sure, to answer like the crazy fan.
Well, what's interesting is in a lot of facets of work, I found that it's not exclusive, right? But you find good people are usually pretty good at they can find a way to be good at their jobs. And Manti, even though we weren't in the same room, we were across the country, was so kind. And you can tell that it's infectious, man. It really is. It's infectious. You want to be around those folks. You want to talk to those folks. Seeing him cue you up or feeding off one another.
He's
just
a
watching.
giver. He's a giver.
And I think that goes such a far way. And then, of course, he has merit in what he's talking about. He's done it at a very high level. And it's just so fun to see him on the show because I think he's such a steal. Not that he's
totally.
I don't want to say that saying that to demean it, but he's truly. It's so much fun to see. And then all those guys. I mean, Kyle's been unbelievable. I've never met the guy. I got to meet Willie and hang out with him.
Yeah.
He's a gem. Me and Willie, talk about me and Mrs. Jones. Me and Willie Colon, we got a thing going on, dude. There's
I'm glad.
There's a lot of beef in those chairs. It was a hoot. Okay, so last. Go on. No, please.
Go.
Please.
No, I was totally just going to agree with, affirm everything that you just said. Like we've got a really good crew now going where we could call anybody up and like you understand what the hang is, and that's important. That's like important for our roster on our show.
Well, it creates, I don't know if fluidity is the right word, but there's something to, I think so.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. And vibes hold merit. Vibes are conducive for more vibes and better television. The whole execution breeds energy. Energy breeds execution thing is, it's an old coach speak, but there is something to it.
Yeah.
And speaking, I don't want this interview to end. This sucks ass.
No,
but,
you don't. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Great.
I'm really fascinated by the clip that was teased.
Okay. No, you know what's great? No. This is good. It's teased. It's been on someone's mind. Okay, so what I'm going to do is before we put the video, I'm going to take us back.
Move on to my next beverage.
Oh, a little Stanley Steamer vacuum cleaner in there.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take us back to 2015. I think it's week 10 of the NFL season, November 15th. It's a 3:15 Central kickoff, so depending on the time of year, Mountain West, it's about 2:15 kickoff. Okay, it's my 10th ever game playing. It's my first ever. That's the day after my first ever production meeting. Someone on this call was in that production meeting. Miss Jamie Erdahl was in that production meeting. And what I alluded to in this, and let me preface this by this segment is called "Get It Off Your Chest."
Oh,
right?
no.
So Jamie, no. No. Okay, so we'll both have an
Did
opportunity.
I just brag so hard that I'm so good at this job, and now you're going to bring up a clip, and it shows that I'm not good at the job?
No. In fact, I think it exacerbates how good you are, truly.
Okay.
So this is an opportunity to get something off your chest. Okay. It could be about football, life, whatever. I know this is pretty much what you do on no breaks. So.
Okay.
I know it's exhausting, but it'll come to you. The Holy Spirit will tell you. We talk about the Holy Spirit all the time. Pretty awesome dude. All right, so week 15, Mile High Stadium, Sports Authority Field. So we actually have this great little 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing. Case, why don't you pull this clip up real quick?
Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, Greg, you guys mentioned Mitch Morse. Tough enough to come in as a rookie in the NFL and learn a new position, but Alex Smith said he did just fine. The hardest part of that is having the confidence to call the play at the line as a rookie. Morse told us that sometimes during preseason he couldn't find the trash can soon enough when he got to the sideline, but he's obviously doing just fine as he progresses through his rookie season.
That kind of makes the point when you're young in the National Football League.
Okay, so my family, I tell them, I'm like, hey, I got the call to do a production meeting. This is really
Production
sweet.
meeting, yeah.
And they're like, what did you talk about? And I had blacked out. I don't know. I was just like in a room full of really cool folks, and I was like, I don't know. And then I get the phone call. I was like, you had your one shot, and you talked about how you yak all the time. And I think it's like, it's whatever. But it's not the thing that I think about most that day. First of all, great call. You crushed.
You probably said that as a throwaway line, and no one else even flinched. And I was like, bingo. And I wrote that thing down. And I was like, that's what I mean about making something interesting.
And, believe me, it was super interesting. But there's so much truth in that. I was an absolute faucet on the sidelines and before games from nervous.
Faucet.
It was. I was a wreck.
You poor thing.
Okay,
Did
but
you and Josh Allen yak next to each other before games?
So Josh, no, but the thing about Josh is kind of funny. So we all pray. It's like prayer in the shower. I don't know why every football team you go to, you pray in the shower. You go, but that's also where Josh's trash can was. So we'd be praying to the good Lord, and you just hear Josh's eyes trying not to come out of his eye socket when he's throwing up on the side. And we're just like, dear God, first of all, please save our quarterback because it sounds like he's dying in the adjacent room, but also. All the good stuff that you give the green light to the guy to pray who absolutely knows how to talk to the good Lord, Holy Spirit, all that good jazz.
Yep.
But my rookie year, have you ever heard of a polyonital cyst, Jamie? Do you know what this is? It's a cyst. It's horrible. Okay. First of all,
say it again. Poly what?
Polyonital cyst. Okay.
I don't even know what part of the body that is.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you.
Polyonital.
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
It's on the bottom crack. It's on the crack of your tailbone crack. Yeah. So it's super painful, but also wildly embarrassing to have, Jamie.
As a rookie?
That game. What's that?
That's a rookie.
As a rookie, yeah. Just add to the rookie thing as I got.
Was that
this
in
thing.
like your combine medical review? Did you
It
have
was,
this? Like,
it was,
did all
and
32 teams know this
Yeah,
about
and
you?
you know what they all said? They're just like, ew, dude, gross. And then they just kind of walked out, ew, ugh. Ew, gross.
Not him.
Wash your ass, bud. I'm like, I do. Please let me represent your
Let me on your
franchise.
team.
I believe you on your team. I'm such a good teammate. So we go, and it's week 10, right? So the season's changing a little bit in Denver. They have those heated benches, Jamie, and we're wearing all white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's actually a crazy game. I don't know if you remember. It's the same game that they give Peyton Manning the all-time leading passing record. You know, the guy with the white gloves comes out.
I remember it. It was like a pass up the left side, but then I think he had like 3 picks after that.
He got benched for Brock Osweiler later that
Yes.
game. It was a wild day. And, I mean, they ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. You're a very good team. But I'm a rookie, and we have the peanut gallery behind us, the Broncos fans, and they're talking wild jargon. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to talk my stuff. I sit up, and I'm just like, hey, and they're like, well, at least we didn't poop our pants.
Oh, no.
And I go, what are you talking about, pooping pants? And I turn around, and, yeah, it looks like I had pooed my pants.
Were you bleeding?
Jamie, it had decided to express itself.
Rupture.
And it ruptured, and it did look like a great doo-doo stain. And you can't turn around and be like, hey, man, it's not poop.
It's
actually
my polycyst.
It's actually an even more disgusting thing that happened. I put the QB towel on my back, and the 2,000 fans were like, hey, man, we know what you're doing, poo-poo pants. And so I just had to sit there, and the next day I had to go into and be like, hey, I got to get this thing removed at the end
Did
of the
Alex
season.
say anything? Was he like, I want to go into
so yes,
shotgun?
Alex did. This was maybe the most demoralizing thing. I'm glad you asked. It's training camp. I got this thing, and so part of the day, So it's one of those days
like
it decided to express itself. Believe me, it's terrible. It's horrible.
There's so many questions.
Yeah. Well, please, I am here to answer it.
The tail.
So I mean, I'm a rookie, Jamie. I'm a rookie, and Alex Smith is going into year 12 or 13. Consummate professional, great human. He's very kind and generous with his time, but also patient. And after practice, he comes up and he's like, "Hey, Mitch, let's talk real quick." And he goes, "Hey, buddy, listen, I know you can't control what's going on back there, but dude, figure it out." So what we would do before every practice is that me and one of the trainers legitimately would tape a maxi pad to my tailbone and have to go out.
Mitch.
And believe me, it was when I got that surgery, dude.
Is it like a bi-week surgery? Like
no, because
do they burn it off? Did they have to cut it off? Like
no, I got this
super
really cool, just really sexy scar that just makes my butt crack look like this big. Yeah, no, it's not cool. It's not great.
It looks like a lowercase I.
It looks fucking gross. That's what it does, dude. It stinks. But so I just want to get that off my chest. That when those fans, there's about 2,000 of them, were giving me grief, because then they're like, "Great, we're losing, but we can give this dude endless hell for doo-dooing his pants." But I didn't. I'm telling you right now.
And little did they know that you had been also yakking in the trash can.
So it was just brought to you by disgusting bodily fluids. Jamie, is there anything that's on your mind? It could be work.
I mean, your cyst. Like,
I have so many questions.
You know, I had vetted this question with my wife. She's my. I just kind of go, and she goes, "You really shouldn't talk about this." And I was like, "I have to."
You have to. I'm actually. I don't think now, looking back on it, I'm gonna take my self-grade down on that day, because like, if I was doing my job, I would have been like,
dude.
Chiefs may have trouble at center, Greg and Trent, because Mitch Morse is now playing with the towel on his backside, and like Alex Smith will not go under center. Like, I don't know what's happening.
It definitely limited the run game.
Shame on me.
Mitch Morse has a tail. This will affect his job.
Oh my gosh. That just along those lines, like telling that story about you, hearing that's other story about you. That what comes to mind real briefly is just like the amount of times I've had to discern between guys like having to do something private on the sideline and what I am and I'm not supposed to say. So like me having to figure out whether or not a dude is peeing in the blue medical tent is like such an annoying waste of my time. I'm like, I wish there was like a he's peeing sign, and so I don't have to stand there and be like, what's wrong with so-and-so? It's like, he's just peeing, all right? And so that's like, I'm actually glad that I wasn't like, trying to follow like the tail of your cyst, essentially, pun intended.
No, Jamie, one wants to. And so we had told a story on a few podcasts ago on this segment that
the cyst.
I had gone and
right area though.
I had to go to the blue tent for a wardrobe malfunction.
What was it?
It was.
He pooped his pants.
Why do you have so many issues like this?
I don't know, and my wife begged me not to say that one too, but I'm just like, I can't. Talking about putting yourself out there, you talk about no breaks. Like, damage is hilarious, and those are damaging. Damage is those are damaging moments, but
yeah. But look at who it made you into.
I'm just
trying to buy time because I'm trying to think of the thing that I just want to like unload on. Let me think about this now. I guess, should I keep it in like football, work, TV? I'm gonna say this one, but it's not. You actually didn't even ask me this, which I like appreciate.
Perfect.
You danced around it, which is cool. It's actually, you did it in a creative way. What's the phrase that I'm using? What's the segment called?
Get it off your chest.
Get it off your chest.
I just like really want people to stop asking me about my sleep habits. Like, yes, here are the facts. And like, maybe I can just say it this one last time because your show is so wildly watched. And like, once people hear it and see it on Monday mornings with Mitch Morse, then they'll stop asking me.
Sure.
Say it one time. It's like a press release. I try to go to bed at 9 p.m. I wake up at 3 a.m. In an ideal world, in my opinion, all functioning adults can survive off of 6 hours of sleep. If I can get a nap in, I do. If I can't, I can still survive. I'm not a great parent at 5 o'clock if I haven't napped. It would be more ideal if I have napped. So if I can get anywhere between 7 and 8 total hours of sleep and a 24-hour clock, that's a win. If I can only survive off of 5 or 6, that's fine too. Anything less, which I did for an entire year of my life when I had my third child on the show, my first on the show, which I was like breastfeeding and waking up in the middle of the night and going in on very little sleep. It's just not healthy. It's inhumane. Right. But what I would love for people to stop asking me and also stop making the face after I answer is like, wow, what time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? How much sleep is that? Yeah. Oh, you know what? When you say it that way, it actually doesn't sound that bad. It's every single time.
Sure.
And I would like it to stop because there are your answers. And if you could actually just send me this clip, I could just text it to people. So when they ask me that question, we don't have to engage in that part of conversation. So I would like to get that off my chest. Stop asking me about my sleep.
Can I tell you, first of all, that's the best one we've got so far, Jamie. Honestly, show it up. We love Jamie because she gave it the business, and you can feel the gusto in that answer. That was amazing. And I remember one of the first questions I did ask you was about sleep. I was like,
when we met?
Yes, when we met. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a natural thing, but it's, I guess, you know what, I was also taught, my dad was always very specific. He was like, don't talk about how tired you are. Nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
Like that was something that was like ingrained in my head as like a teenager. So, you show up somewhere and now I view it as just like a conversation halter. If someone's like, how are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm exhausted. I'm like, all right, sure, let me hear the story, I guess. Like, it's just not interesting to me. And apparently I have I'm a brat about things that are interesting. So I don't think it's that interesting to tell you when I go to bed and when I wake up. Like, just let me live my life. I do the show, I do my job, and go home. And frankly, if it was your livelihood on the line, you would probably do the same thing too. So just think of something else to say. But you, Mitch, I don't hold it against you.
Well, thank you. It was more so just like, how the hell do you do this? It's 3 a.m.
Well, no, Mitch, actually, to your point, I allow it for people that are doing it with us.
Right.
What I can't stand is the people who I come across at work who I'm leaving and they're coming in and they're like, wow. I'm like,
somebody's tired.
Yes.
And you're like, lick my butt. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I just had a burrito.
Exactly.
I had those
yeah.
burritos.
Oh my God, great breakfast burritos.
We could have a whole nother episode about those breakfast burritos. Speaking on those breakfast burritos, Jamie knew that I was swimming when I was in there, Casey. She was such a treasure trove of information. She had a family to go home to. Her sleep was, whatever. But she made a conscious effort every day to come in. And the garage is going on downstairs, so if you hear some rumbling, that's the garage.
Okay. That's okay.
But she made a conscious effort to come in here, talk to me, give me the debrief, and be very kind. And I think what we said earlier is that there are universal languages that you throw around in the universe, right? And one of them is kindness. And our guest today, Jamie Erdahl, is fluent in that language. We really appreciate your time, Jamie. We know you have a lot going on. We can't wait to see you continue, of course, your killer gig on Good Morning Football. I mean, you carry so many folks, and you let people fly when they need to fly. But also the no breaks thing you got going on is tremendous. So we love you, Jamie. Thank you so much for your time. It really means a ton.
I love you guys.
I got you.
Thank you. Stay. Wait. Hold up your empty glass, Mitch. That would be excellent. Hold up your empty glass.
You see
that?
I'm
putting this on the gram. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You're the best,
thanks.
Jamie.
You
and,
guys, that was really fun.
I really
appreciate
the
Jamie.
editing.
When Mitch was done being on the show, he called me and was like, Case, I have the itch. And you made it so enjoyable for him and him being on the show that he was like, I have the itch. We need to do something. You want to be involved in this podcast? And I was like, absolutely. So that's how this kind of started.
Truly. And
well, that's really cool.
We've been looking to get
hope,
you on.
And I've made a conscientious. I decided a while back that I was going to stop doing the sugarcoat thing when it came to my job or my career, or frankly the way I said the thing about I do the job because I know so many other people would want to do it. Because I think it's doing a disservice to people who want to do media if you're just anybody can. It's just not everybody can. And so I don't really do the thing anymore where I just do the falsity of you did a good job. Like if a guy comes on the show and I'm like, thanks for coming. Mostly you'll hear that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
But like honestly, Mitch, like you do have it. You might not like think you do, or it's like, but I'm glad that that's what rubbed off on you, because I don't do it. Maybe like I'm not gonna grab you by the beard hairs and be like, do a podcast, but like I wanted you to feel like what you're doing is right. Keep going down this avenue, and like you'll be fine. So I'm glad you're doing it.
Well, I really appreciate it, Jamie, and especially hearing it from you is amazing. It was one of the most humbling experiences of my life, and I remember telling my wife, I was like, I have the itch, but there are, and you don't have the perspective unless you've sat in that chair and you put that earpiece in. Like it is one of the most humbling experiences. It drives you to be better, and it's one of those things you just realize that, like the people who are doing it well, you just got to tip your hats, and
Totally.
you are 1,000% one of them, Jamie. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. And if you ever need anything from us, which I doubt, give us a shout.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to have you on for sure. I'm like I said, I'm being a brat about like doing it by myself for the first couple weeks, but then I'm going to start booking my friends.
As you should.
We'll see you on
no
Crack It
sports
Friday.
Allowed. Crack It Fridays.
Jamie, here's the thing. Let your freak flag fly, dude. Just let it fly and see how it goes. And you're crushing. So thank you so much for your time.
Man.
We
Appreciate it.
Thank
you guys,
you,
that was
Jamie.
really fun. Well done. You run an upscale operation here, and I don't want you to think twice about how the thing started.
We'll think about it forever.
There's nothing I can do about it now.